Okay, in this video we're going to look at problem 9 on the review. Identify whether a function described by a table, graph, or an equation is one-to-one and whether it has an inverse. That's a function. We should be able to say that all things can be written with an inverse, but in this case we're implying that the inverse is a function. So the two things that we're looking for here is whether or not the values are one-to-one, and if it is one-to-one, then it does have an inverse function. So one-to-one means that there's only one value in the range that can be mapped back to a single value in the domain. So that means that each value, if you have a value here that's the same on the range, it has to come back to the same x value. And in this case, A is not one-to-one. Because of the 4 value being mapped back to two different x values. It's not one-to-one because if we define 1, we know that's 4. We should also be able to define -1 as something different because it's got to go to a single value. Alright, now on a functional part of this, we can say the same thing for this one. This one's not one-to-one also because it has a square, and that means any value like 2 and g of -2 are going to have the same value because we square it, we get 4, and we'll get 2 for this one, and we'll get 2 for this one. So this is not one-to-one either. Now on a graph, we're looking for horizontal line test. So horizontal line should cross the function once. So any horizontal line we draw should cross the function one time. In part C, it is one-to-one because it passes the horizontal line test. Now in part D, we drew a horizontal line, it crossed once there, but if we drew another horizontal line here, it would cross multiple times of the graph. So this is not one-to-one. Now, the only one that has an inverse that's a function is this one right here. The other ones have inverses, but they're not going to be inverse functions. So it would be hard. We'd have to restrict the domain on the A, B, and D in order for the inverse to be a function. We'd have to cut the domain and restrict it. So letter C here is the only one that has an inverse because it's the only one that is one-to-one.